Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today on Little Italy of Los Angeles podcast. Excited today to have with us Giada Valenti. Thanks so much for joining us, Giada.
My pleasure, Deborah. Hello, everybody.
Hello. So I love to say you're one of my favorites. You are an award-winning Venetian vocalist, born in Venice, and at the moment calling me from Vegas. So
Yes.
how exciting! Yeah, how exciting to have you. And we were just talking about that you're actually going to be serenading some people for Valentine's Day. What a cool thing to do! People actually hire you to do that, don't they?
I've been doing it the whole week, which is nice. It's this page called the Cameo, where a lot of, if you go there, there's all kind of celebrity from actors, singers, and for me, of course, I sing about love. So all my fans, they know that. So they've been requesting a lot of happy Valentine's messages for the people they love in their life. Some even girlfriend to girlfriend said, I don't have anybody in my life. So I said, hey, it's also, I was watching a movie. They said it was Valentine's Day. So I've been also serenading ladies from friends to friends with love songs. So I appear on my phone, modern technologies. And they can send me the message. They can say, I love my wife very much. She's the love of my life. Can you please sing? But I was telling you, and I make you laugh, that some of them have a requested song I didn't even know. So I've been also learning, which I love. Yesterday, I've learned the 12th of Never, Johnny Mattis. Excuse me, I never heard the song, but it's very cute. Somebody asked me the other day, okay, the very thought of you. I've never sang that song. So it's nice. I've been doing that at least 5 times a day. So good excuse to get ready.
Oh, yeah. And before the end of our podcast, I may have you do a little quick serenade to all of our listeners at Little Italy of LA. Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be fun. Ready and willing.
Why ready? You're always ready and willing. Let's talk a little bit about you. You're from Venice, right? Beautiful area in Venice. And tell me a little bit about growing up and what inspired you to start singing.
That's a good question. Well, Venice, I don't know if you ever been there, Deborah, but is one of the most romantic places on earth. So I said it was there was no excuse. I could not become more romantic than I am. I do believe in love because in Venice, I always see people coming to Venice hugging and kissing, wedding, and they come back for their anniversary. And that it's been my love for life. I think the pictures I had of life was the picture that Venice gives me of people happy coming there. And then the love for music came from my family. And mostly I would guess for my grandmother. She was a music lover, a soprano, even though she had 7 kids. She could not really follow her career. Music was always something that she had in her gene and DNA, and she had a beautiful voice. And she started taking me to church when I was a little girl. And I remember sitting there in the middle of the choir. I was maybe 3 or 4 years old, I've been told. And can you imagine listening all these voices? And I started to humming myself like, mm-hmm. And my grandmother said, hey, she has some talent. So they enrolled me to music school when I was only 5. So I've been told that I could write music notes even before I could write letters. And the rest came, I never made a decision. I never had these egocentric things that I wanted to be a singer and be on stage and do what I do. It was just that my thing was to follow my happiness. And happiness is music to me, express myself through music. And God bless me that I have the gift that I can do that, and bless me also with people that appreciate what I do. So that's been the start of my life. And so I continue to do every day.
You were classically trained as a little kid, right?
Yes, as for piano and for singing, yes, my grandmother enrolled me to classical piano, which I have a degree on the classical piano of the Conservatory in Venice, and then also for singing, because that's the basic of singing. Actually, it's been a good thing because they teach you how to breathe, the diaphragms and the control of your hair and everything. But I think I took lesson there maybe for a year in Padua, which is actually outside Venice. And I remember vividly coming back and say to my grandmother, Grandma, I'm not going to be the next Maria Callas because that's not for me. When you are classically trained, I remember I was in front of the piano and the teacher was teaching me something from, I think I'm a mezzo soprano, so I think it was the Carmen. And she said, and then she said, here you stop and you have to breathe. And I look at the teacher and said, I don't want to breathe there. I want to breathe later. I said, no, it's written on the paper. So I went home and said, Grandma, that's not for me. I want to sing. I want to breathe when I want. So I went into jazz, which was like, freedom of spirit. And then of course I went to rock music. But it's nice that thanks to my grandmother, the basic of my singing came from the classical music. So I know exactly when I have a bad day that I cannot sing, because you have those days that your vocal cords are either tired. I know how to relax them. I know that there are certain exercises that you can do to get your vocal cords in a quiet and normal place, which most of the time, Deborah, is something that me and you, we cannot do. Most of the time will be not speaking. And I love to talk, so.
Do you really? Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful. So when did you start performing throughout Europe? When were you discovered? And what was that like?
A little girl. We have in Italy something that I don't know if you guys have it in the United States. I don't think so. We have in Italy like a series of song contests that you can start to do as a little child. So every village and big city they have. So you have a little one and then you have the national one. And I started to enroll as a little girl in my little place first. Then I won that one. So when you win one, they send you to another village. And I started to do so. I was very little. I started to win all this big trophy because some of them were bigger than me when I was 7, 8 years old. Then my parents even drove me all the way to Rome. Was a very famous thing called La Grande Occasione, the big opportunity. So they took me there. I think I was 10 years old. I was wearing yellow, which is a color I never wore after that. And I went there and I did very well. I won that one. So I started as a kid. And it's always been, when I watch those American Idol and those voices, I see those kids that they go there and I never had really the drive that I wanted to win and compete. For me, it was just joy. I was going there, I was singing, and I could see, of course, other kids and other mothers that they were pushing the kids like, do like her, sing better, stand still. And my parents were just like, go and have fun. And that was me. I had fun, and probably I was winning because of that. I was singing, having fun. It was not like, I was not in a competitions, maybe with myself, because even to these days, if I do something and I feel I could have done it better, I became mad with myself. So I always have this internal competition. But I think one of my idols is Dolly Parton, and she always said, when you do something, give your whole. And that's what I try to do. Every time I try to be the best that I can. So when I think I have not accomplished that, it pisses me off a little bit.
Well, we're going to jump around a little bit. So you said Dolly Parton is one of your idols.
Yes.
I mean, now for 2 years, you've been doing your very own special at Carnegie Hall, right? And then last year, couldn't do it, obviously, because of COVID, and maybe not this year, too. We'll see. But how exciting would it be to perform with Dolly?
That's one of my, I have two big dreams. Dolly is my number one. My number two is Neil Diamond, which I don't know, he's getting old himself. But Dolly's been, I don't know if you follow her, but for me as a singer, as a woman, and she stands for everything that we should be. She's small, she's tiny, but she's bigger than life. And all the people that have worked and met Dolly, they all say that one of the things that is captivated about her is her kindness. Are willing to give back. But so many people said, you're just like her. I mean, they ask me sometimes, when you die, how do you want to be remembered? I don't want to be remembered, oh, she was a great singer. Yeah, maybe they can say she was a great singer, a great entertainer. But I wanted that they say, oh, she was so kind. She made me feel better when I give compliments to everybody. And I really do. I think we all need to be loved and receive confidence. So I try to do that every time I accept. I have created this group of fans that I call them, I don't call them fans. First of all, I call them my angels, because I think they are the wings of the music. They are the one that brings my music all over the place. And all of them, they are my circle of love. And I'm always saying, this circle of love, I want to have people that just like me are in love with life and wants to spread kindness and positivity. And I'm very mild sometimes going against the bully or said, but I said resolution of 2022, I'm going to answer to people. And they never be bullying me, but they bully sometimes other people on social media. And I think I have to stand for it. I have to protect them. So I'm going to be a little bit more tough about that. I want to stand more for what I think doesn't have to be done. We don't have to be judgmental. One thing that if I can say, it's been one of the greatest blessings in my life. My grandfather when I was a little girl, she was asking me, he told me not to categorize things in too many categories. There is only two things, good and bad. So it's good music, bad music. Good people, bad people. So no black, yellow, lesbian, gay. No, it's good people, good people, bad people, good music. And if you do that, your life became so easy. And then, of course, that's my opinion, because I can consider somebody beautiful and somebody can consider a person ugly. So there's only two categories. There is black and white. There's no gray. That was my grandfather. And that made my life so easy. So
you're right. And you know what? It's a choice. You can go one way or the other. And frankly, it's a lot easier to just do the good, right? It's actually easier on your conscience. You can sleep. In fact, we were talking too, the entire theme of your music is love. Because I said to you, what's the genre? What do you like to do? And you said, I like to talk about love. So tell me a little bit about that.
I talk about love, so I always choose song, first of all, that speaks to me first. I'm a little bit egocentric in that, because for the simple reason, if they speak to me, if they touch my heart, when I sing them to other people, I can touch their heart. And I don't categorize music in country, pop, old, new. A good song is a good song. The song can be written 100 years ago, of yesterday, or of tomorrow. If it's a good song, if the lyrics are good, if the melody, it's nice to sing and makes you feel well when you sing it, it's a good song. So but the theme, and it's not something that I've chosen. It looks like every time I'm attracted to love songs, and sometimes are heartbroken love song, because there are many songs that are so sad, and sometimes I never even had the broken heart as some songs that I'm singing, but when I sing them, I can picture myself losing the loves of my life, and I can feel that sadness. They always say you feel like you're gonna die when love dies, and it happens to me a couple of times in my life. But right? But yeah. So I think I'm attracted to love, the good and the bad of love, and everything. Remember, the good and the bad of love, because even love can be good, can be bad, but love is magical. So. Yeah.
So, but before you found your way to the U.S. and moved here for a bit, you were performing throughout Europe. Yes. You met your husband in Holland, right? So tell me a little bit about that. Where were you performing? Who were you performing with, and how did that all go?
So I was actually studying at the University of Psychology. I have a degree in psychology because my parents, as I said, they were not sure the music would be a path for me. So, and in the winter month, normally December, January, and February, there were no exams. So I was taking the books with me, and I was going to Switzerland. Switzerland at the time, we're talking about 18, 19 years ago, they had a place in all these fancy hotels where I was singing with a trio. Just entertainment on a corner, and for the rich and famous. And one night, my husband, that now he works for me, but at the time he was working for Dutch television. He was there with a big entourage of Dutch that I found out later were presenters, famous people of Holland. They were there performing, having a party, and I was performing. He fell in love with me. Deborah, I did not fall in love with him right away, but to make a long story short, I married him 9 months after I saw him for the first time. And I wrote a song that is called But Beautiful, that people can find in social media. And it was love at first sight. I know that tonight. And that song, I wrote it a year later. So I knew that he was the one for me, even though I was kind of rejecting the idea of go into that path. But I mean, we're still together. He's my manager, my husband, my everything. We do everything together. So I met him there. And of course, I married him 9 months later. We did not have a language in common because I could speak only Italian and French, and JJ all the others. So I went to Amsterdam. I've learned English first, then I've learned Dutch, and now we have 5 languages to speak in common. So
that's outstanding. Can you do a little hum for me, just a little bit of the song that you created after you met him? Am I putting you on the spot asking you to do that?
I completely surrendered when you kiss me so tender. What is perfect love but beautiful? That's the song. That's the chorus.
Wow. While we were warming up, you were singing a little bit, and again I said, wow, I can't. I can't carry a tune to save my soul. So when I hear that, it's outstanding, and I think, wow, how could she do that? That's
That's
pretty
not even
beautiful.
singing, Deborah. This is just humming. We call it in singing. We call this humming. When you sing, I completely la la la. This is humming for us.
Wow.
Singing would
Okay,
be
so
like singing.
all right, I'm gonna hold you to it. Believe me, I'm gonna ask you to sing me something for us, but later. So okay, so you guys are now in Holland. You're learning your languages. You're performing throughout Europe. How did you end up over here in the U.S. and performing here?
Uh, I started to write music only for also for other artists. I moved to London. I had a deal with to write music for other people, and then they sent me to Denmark. And then I started to cooperate and work with some songwriters that they started. I was also singing the songs for other people, so they said, "You have such a pretty, lovely voice. Why you don't record something about yourself?" And I said, "For me."
Oh,
So we wrote a song called "Italian Signorina," which was in my PBS special from Venice with Love. And I'm an Italian signorina in the mood for love. And they said, such a cute song. I had a kind of a jazzy vibe. And so my husband is just like me. We always have these big, crazy ideas. So I said, let me send it around record company. You never know. I was already, bear in mind, I was already doing pretty well in Holland with my own Italian original music there. They love Italian music. So we send these little things all over the country. And we got the attention of Clive Davis in New York City. I kept the email. He said my voice was enchanting. So he said, would you like to come here? And I've never been to America, and just to meet us. I said, okay. So we went to New York. It was my first time. Was a brutal December, cold weather, winter.
oof.
We went there, and I was like, whoo, but New York was spectacular. We spoke with the team, and they said, listen, you know, they never signed you instantly. They said, we have to start to work together. Would you mind to take the risk and move to New York City? We can make you work with a better producer and writers. You can improve your English and still improving my English, by the way. And the rest is history. We moved there. I never got to sign a deal with Clive, but we decided to stay in New York. We started to work independently, JJ and I, and to organize little concerts for. We are preaching now from, you are actually there with Little Italy. I started to perform for my people, for the Italian American community. And that was a discovery by himself. Because being Italian, born and raised in Italy, I did not know that there were Italian Americans in America. For me, there were Americans. And when I started to do concerts, I started to, of course, to attract with my name, Giada Valenti, people that were of Italian heritage. And there I was on the CD table with these people that were coming for signing CDs in New York. And they looked like my uncles, my neighbors. I was like, they all look like family. And they were so proud of their Italian heritage. They were saying, I've never been to Italy, but my grandfather was from Sicilia, Napoli. And then I had never felt proud, any kind of things about being Italian. I've never been proud of being Italian. And suddenly I was like, my gosh, these people don't speak Italian. They've never been to Italy, but just because their grandfather was Italian, they feel like they are so Italian in their core. And that was a blessing for me. Suddenly I was so proud of being Italian. So I'm always say I'm so thankful for this country. I started to sing the Italian national anthem in the United States. We don't sing that one, Deborah, in Italy. Never. We just
that was amazing. That's amazing to me when you told me that. I mean, it's almost like you discovered your own Italian heritage, even more so by moving here to America. Incredible. Tell me let's do a little bit of a brag fest, please. Some of the people that you've worked with and sung with. One of my favorites, please, if you would.
Oh, Andrea Bocelli. I'm sure you got that direction. Well, I got to sing with Andrea, and that was just like, I knew him for several years, of course, because not many people know, but he started his career in Holland. So I knew Andrea, and then I was, I think a year and a half ago, I was here, and I received this email from Veronica, the wife of Andrea, if I was if I was free to do something for the Andrea Bocelli Foundations in Lake Tahoe, and was in June, I think. I even didn't check my agenda. I said, yes, I am. You don't say, let me check. And I went to Lake Tahoe. It was an experience because to work with Andrea, it makes you feel like everything is easy. He's another one that he's so comfortable in doing what he does, and he's so in love with the whole thing he does. So the only thing that was that, they sent me a couple of songs that I was supposed to sing in duet with him, and he requested me to sing La Vie En Rose, which is this French song that is like, I can never leave any stage without singing that song. So he asked me that song. And I thought I'm going to rehearse with Andrea, with the orchestra. No, that's not the way you sing with Andrea. You just go there and you learn your thing and you go on stage. It can be 2 people, 20,000 people, 100,000 people, and you sing with them. And I was like, I start to flip out. I was already there on location in Lake Tahoe. So I text Veronica, his wife, that she's one of the most intelligent, beautiful, strong women on the planet. And I said, Veronica, I didn't know Andrea was not coming for the sound check. I said, listen, because you're both Italian, you're going to like each other. She said, come on the room before the show and you chit chat with Andrea and you guys figure it out how to do it. So I dressed up and remember the event was, and by the way, this was like 4:30 in the afternoon. We are in Nevada, Lake Tahoe, and Andrea was still in LA. So we are flying. He said, we're going to be there at 6. Show starts at 7. But at 6:15, you can come to the room and chit chat with Andrea. You guys go through the song with the piano. So there I was, dressed up, freaking out. But I walk into the room. Andrea was still in his jeans, sitting on the couch. Of course, the guy is blind, so he doesn't know. He can feel somebody's walking in. And he said, who's there? And then I started to say, sono Giada, ciao Andrea. And when I spoke Italian to him, he was like, sei Italiana, you're Italian. He thought I was Italian American. He loves to speak Italian. So we started to chit chat like it was like, what are you doing here? Yes,
old friends. Yeah, old friends.
And we started to talk about the animals. You know, he's an animal lover. And everything was so easy. And then he said, so what about the song? And it was funny because he said, what about the Vie En Rose? How are we doing that? I said, no, Andrea, that one I'm doing by myself. He said, oh, thank God, because I was like, where am I going in? So easy it is. And then we were, so he said, let me go dressed up. So he dressed himself and 50 minutes later, there he was backstage and we walked together. They asked me to walk him on stage, which you can imagine, Deborah. I mean, Andrea Bocelli, come on. And they changed the schedule. So I have to walk the man in. So I take his hands, right? The man is big, he's handsome, and I forgot he's blind. So I walk by hand with him, and he almost broke his leg against the piano chair. So he said to me, he grabbed me on my waist, and he said, get me close, and I can't see. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. So I walk him on stage.
Oh my God.
So you forget about the freakiness of the singing. So I bring it on stage, and I put him in front of his microphone. People is looking at us, so excited, you know. And I move to the left side of Andrea. That's where they put my microphone. We're 2 singers, me and a soprano, another girl. And if you notice, Andrea always have the singers on his right side.
I've seen him in concert, right? With at the Hollywood Bowl. No,
exactly.
Oh my! So to this day, I think about it all the time. What a performance! So that amazing. Was you. That was you only in Tahoe. Oh my gosh. I can't
so I'm on his left side. So Andrea looked on the right side. He said, Giada, where are you? And I'm saying, no, Andrea, I'm here. So everybody was laughing. And he said, why are you on my left? I said, I don't know. They put me here. So we had such a fun conversation. If you see the picture of me and him, we were laughing. And then we sang together. And it's very easy. I mean, you touch your hand sometimes when he wants to make sure you're still there. It's kind of fun. He's an amazing gentleman. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say. And they always say behind every great man, there is a great woman. And I will say, I can never stress enough to say, Veronica, she's like the force of nature behind the man. She's amazing.
Wow. Wow. I could almost end the podcast there, but there's too much else to ask you. That's incredible. Oh my gosh. Phil Ramone. You've worked with Phil Ramone.
Yes.
Greg Field, and some people in our audience might not know who Greg Field is. So tell us briefly about working with Phil Ramone and Greg Field, would you?
Well, Phil Ramone has been a blessing in my life. Unfortunately, he passed away a couple of years back. Just to mention, he was one of the most famous music producer. Producer all the Frank Sinatra albums, the Barbara Streisand, and then he was a friend of mine. So I got to work with him, which was like a lessons of humility, being normal. The guy was having dinner with me, the phone ring, and it's Barbara Streisand. He speaks with Barbara, and he said, yes, Barbara. And then he hangs up the phone, and I'm like, is that Barbara? And then a second later, he said, oh, by the way, you sang fantastically before. I'm like, me? Forget about me. What about Barbara? What did she say? So for him, he always say, you don't need fame to be great. You are or you are not. That was his thing. So he could stop on the street while somebody was playing on the street. If he thought it was a good musician, he would stop and give him his compliments, which for me, this is a lesson that you are a human being first, and then you are wherever Grammy and wherever success you have. And so is Greg Field, because I got to, when Phil Ramone passed away, I was about to film my PBS special From Venice with Love. And of course, Phil Ramone was supposed to be the music supervisor, and suddenly he was gone. He died, unfortunately, in a couple of weeks. So I remember Phil speaking about this younger producer he had worked a lot with, Greg Field, and we have been in contact with him for other things. So I said, let's see if Greg can be on board. And Greg, many people may not know him, but he's, of course, he has 8 or 9 Grammy himself as a producer. And he was, as a young kid, he was, when he was very young, was the drummer of the Count Basie Orchestra. He drummed with Frank Sinatra. He drummed with Ella Fitzgerald. He was one of the founder of Concord Records, who's one of the biggest independent record label. And he's, beside all of this, he's a man, I'm always say, when you have a bad day, really the worst of your day, you want to call Greg Field, and it will cheer you up, and your life is going to be perfect. When you talk with Greg, I can say, Greg, I have this crazy dream. I would love to sing with, I don't know, you can mention, I don't know, any big name out there. I said, yes, why not, kid? Let's do it. Why not? That's Greg. So it's like energy. And I think that's why everybody wants to work with him. So working with those two people gave me confidence that you have to be a human being. They're just like me. You have to be a human being, and then all the success and all the good things would come. And by the way, Greg Field, talking about Italian pride, because we are, me and you, is married to Monica Mancini, who is the daughter of the one and only Harry Mancini. So, and is a dear friend of mine. And I will never forget the first time I went in the studio of Greg. There is a grand piano. And you know me, I'm Italian, touchy, touchy, touchy. So I touched the piano. And he said, oh, that's Henry Mancini piano. I'm like, what? And then he said, yeah, you see the music on the piano. There was the music charts written by pen by Harry Mancini of Moon River. Moon River, wide and mild. And then Greg said, look, that's the Grammy. And then the Oscar he won. And he gave me the Grammy and the Oscar. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
You just seem to land in these places, but you belong there. That's the thing. You belong there. You land exactly where you belong. Tell us briefly about your PBS special.
Oh, that was a dream that I had. I mean, when I came to the United States compared to Venice, Italy, of Italy himself, in matter of fact, is such a huge country. So where do I start? And we were friends with some people that had music special on PBS. So we started to see, Andrea was there, of course, another guy that we know very well, a violin player called Andrea was there. So we were talking to their management. We said, one of the things that you can do, you can film a music special and have it for PBS. So with JJ, we started to make some research. We took a lot of, you have to be prepared. So we didn't know how it works, for instance, to find money to have these big projects. So we were living in New York City at the time. We went to all these off-Broadway kind of seminars to learn how to deal with investors, how to write business plans. And so I learned technically everything there was the music scene and the making of things. And then it took me 5 years. I had a little break because at a certain point I almost died. I was very sick, but so I took a break of 6 months. But then when I was out of that, suddenly I've learned everything, and I started to send business plans, to have meeting with people. I was talking like I knew everything, and actually I knew everything, how to recoup the money. And then before you knew, in 2015, there we were in a theater. We built Venice on the stage. People can go on my YouTube, they can see. And I filmed it From Venice with Love. I had it on my hands, and still I had no PBS deal whatsoever. But I knew sometimes, what is first, the chicken or the egg? Nobody has the answer. So I said, okay, I cannot have the chicken. Let me make the egg. So I made the egg, and I had the egg. I had my PBS special. I went to a convention of PBS. I showed to the guy that was the decision maker, let's say, unpolished, unfinished, just the rough idea of what it was. He liked it, and he said, we're going to make it a national project, and the rest is history. And then
incredible.
Yeah. So it was just a dream, one of those crazy big dream. And before I knew it, it didn't give me success and fame like I would have hoped in my dream, because America is such a big country, but I was able to, first of all, to tour around the United States, and where I have fans, those angels, they're really amazing people that to these days, when I appear just like you on my Giada Live on the social media, they are there. They love my music.
Right.
They tell me when I'm not there with them, they have my music in their house. They put the PBS Special on DVD, and they hear me sing all those songs over and over again. It's just magical. And my PBS Special has been to places I've never been. It's been to Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii. So I have some angels in Hawaii. I've never been there. So it's nice. It's.
I know you want to work with Dolly. I'm sure you'd love to work with Gaga. Well, we want to reach out to her.
Actually, Gaga, yeah.
Yeah, I want to reach out to her and get her on our podcast. She loves to talk about her Italian heritage. She's another one born here, but why not? Would she be incredible? Would she be incredible to work with? Oh.
Gaga, actually, Gaga, without even knowing each other, I lived in New York for 10 years, and I was singing every year on October, the Columbus Day Parade for NBC on the red carpet. And actually, I think the first year I was there, was first year in the United States, Lady Gaga was there, but she had still the brown, dark hair, and she was called Germanotta. And I didn't know. So I even didn't cross paths with her. A couple of months later, I was invited, it was in 2006. I'm invited to do a little event at the cutting room in New York City. And there she walks on stage. I'm singing, and then Lady Gaga, Germanotta, walks in, goes on the piano with his little skirt, and she plays. And I say to JJ, my gosh, this girl, she's amazing. She had presence, talent, amazing. So long story short, I think a year later, Lady Gaga became Lady Gaga. I mean, I remember having seen her at the cutting room that night and thinking, stupid of me. I should have gone and say how great she was. I didn't even do it. And I received an email from the fan club of Lady Gaga. So a Lady Gaga fan club, they asked me, they said, we noticed that Miss Valenti has performed the same year that Germanotta, Lady Gaga, was at the Columbus Day Parade in 2006. Do you happen to have the video? I'm like, Lady Gaga was on the red carpet with me? So we asked NBC to send me all the material, and there was Lady Gaga. So now if you go on that video, it's written, thanks to Giada Valenti for this video. I'm like, people will say, who's Giada Valenti, But I didn't know, but I don't remember. She was apparently there, Lady Gaga. I adore. I mean, now she's larger than life. And she's Italian.
Of course. So what are you working on currently before I let you go? And I am going to have you sing a little something.
Having something. I'm working on a gazillion of things. I'm always say I have always this I'm working on a Latin album, because as I said, I love once a year I do this concert at Carnegie Hall, which is Amore y Amor. So it's an Italian and Latin tribute to Italian music and Latin music. And many of my fans, maybe 50% of my fans are of Latin heritage, and they love when I sing in Spanish. So I'm working on that one with Cheche Alara, which is not a Grammy-winning producer, and I'm working on a Christmas CD. I love the holidays. Every year I do Love Under the Christmas Tree concert. I did it also this year virtually, and I want to work on that one. And every Sunday, for people that love, if I'm allowed to say, I do the Love Song Sundays on my Patreon page. So every Sunday, since this madness started, I sing for an hour, all kind of songs they can request. It's fun. And of course, I do my Giada Live just like you twice a week, where I cook, sing, and interview people. It's just fun, right? Maybe you should be my guest one day so I can know more about you.
Oh, that would be so much fun. I would enjoy that so much. I would. So yeah, let's talk about that. So before I let you go, just a little something, right, for Valentine's Day to all of our guests on Little Italy of Los Angeles, would you?
All right. Because you put me on the spot. I sing you basically the song that made me a singer. I grew up in Venice, Italy, and I've learned this song when I was 5 years old. Bear in mind, it was in French. I have no idea what I was singing about. I learned French because I wanted to understand what was this song. And now it's the song that I cannot leave any stage without singing it. Because the people are Italian, so they don't speak French. The song is from Edith Piaf. She wrote it herself. She was half Italian too, by the way. And she's singing, when he embraced me and he speaks to me softly, words of love, my life is beautiful. I am his, he's mine. That's the reason why my heart beats. This is the meaning of the song Vie En Rose. So I sing only, yes, it's a lot of love in there. This is the song that Andrea asked me to sing for him. So I can hum for you the little part. Is Quand il me prend dans ses bras, il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tout le jour, et ça me fait quelque chose. So this is La Vie En Rose. And if they want to hear this song, there are gazillions of video on, even from my PBS Special from Venice with Love, they can see me wear my favorite gown that is over there, made in Venice from me. It's a beautiful gown. So they can go on giadavalenti.com on YouTube and they can see La Vie En Rose. And otherwise on Patreon every Sunday. I think this is a song I'm going to sing this Sunday.
Oh, honestly, you brought tears to my eyes, and that's hard to do. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for doing that and for joining us. Giada Valenti, you're just a delight. You're so cheerful and beautiful. I thank you so much for joining us on our Little Italy of LA podcast. It was really a wonderful time that I enjoyed talking.
I want to thank you,
So,
Deborah, for your kindness, for your time. And hopefully, that's my dream also. I'm on my many dream to meet you one day soon. So
I would enjoy that. We're not too far between LA and Vegas. I have a sister there. So one of these days I'm going to be traveling there too. So thank you again. And
thank you so
everybody
much.
for, of course, thank you everybody for joining us on our Little Italy of Los Angeles podcast. You can find us anywhere on Facebook, on YouTube, IGTV, and then of course, anywhere where you get your audio podcasts as well on Little Italy of Los Angeles. My name is Deborah Zara Kobylt. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
We're out? Okay.
Are we done, Christian?
Yeah, we're clear.
Oh, nobody told me. I was just standing there. Okay, beautiful. I'm standing because you never know, right? And then they get.
JJ was saying to me, "Shh." I said, "Okay."
I know. And then all of a sudden you're like this, and it's like, oh no. So,
yeah, exactly. Like what?
Okay. Oh, I would love to meet you, and anytime you want me on, that's great. How about